The last video I was talking about nakedness and purity can coexist, sexiness and purity can coexist, attraction and purity can coexist, beauty and purity can coexist. You do not need to suppress one to maintain the other. Especially if you are a woman who believes and loves God, you do not need to hide that essence of you in order for you to be seen as pure. The problem is that it's not that we're not pure when we are in embracing the sexy essence of our being, or the beauty or the beauty of our essence. It is that society, because our minds and our hearts has been corrupted around the bodies and how women are viewed in society is what views us impure. God doesn't view us impure just because we are dressed in a way that is sexy. When God was creating us, he knew that if this part is emphasized more than that part, then they are going to give off that sexy essence. He knew all of this. He crafted us in a very intentional way. But we as a world, because our minds have been corrupted, our hearts have been corrupted, we view it as something that is impure rather than celebrating it and actually getting to the root problem of the issue. The root problem that addresses why women all around the world are being raped, are being objectified, why men in all different settings discipline when it comes to women and their nakedness. That is the real problem. It isn't that nakedness in its nature is impure. It's that we keep teaching men that it is okay to objectify women. As a man, you can embrace and appreciate, or you can appreciate the beauty of a woman, the attraction of a woman. You don't need to be afraid. You don't need to run away from the nakedness of a woman. You don't need to be afraid about the nakedness of a woman. And if you feel like you need to run away in order for you to not do anything, that's okay. Run away, but then address the heart problem right there. Why do you not have discipline in your heart that when you are around an attractive woman, you can't stop yourself from doing something that actually violates them? That is the problem. That is the core problem here. Not that the woman is presented or dressed in a way that is impure or that drives a certain behavior. It is the fact that men in society have actually gotten away with too much. What I mean by that is they've gotten away with this idea of placing emphasis on how a woman's presented rather than dealing with the heart problem within themselves, to learn how to see the beauty, the attraction, the sexiness of a woman in the eyes of God, where the innocence is still maintained, even though they are dressed in a way that emphasizes or that shows certain parts of themselves more than the other. Innocence still needs to maintain. And if that's how God sees us as women when he created us, and even whilst we walk this earth, that is how the men in this world need to see us, not as objects but as human beings, as our full essence, our full capacity as women, without suppressing one part over the other. Now, as women, as someone who was once married, I mentioned this in my previous video, was once married, now I'm not in a relationship, I've had children, my body has gone through many different things, lots of stages, I've seen things and experienced things from lots of different lenses and perspective. I came to this conclusion because I realized this is what gave me the most freedom to love other women when I see them embracing themselves and dressing in a way that may be a little more provocative than usual. When I see women who are just confident about themselves, to be able to love them and appreciate how God created them and not have an envy within me because I don't have the same freedom within myself to express myself the way that I want to. Like, a lot of the times when we place so much emphasis on how a woman should be dressing and we police other women, there's a problem there that needs to be dealt with, because we run away from the fact that you actually envy and feel jealous towards those women that actually have that freedom within themselves to be like that. And instead of you dealing with the heart problem, you have gone and placed judgment on a woman that is comfortable and confident within their skin, who does not go and live life in accordance to the ideas and the belief system that society has laid and that society has told women that is how we should be. If women in society, if God himself is not boxed, Why, as women and even as men, this issue, this boxing problem isn't just limited to women, men as well. If God is if God does not want us to box him, why are we boxing ourselves into one idea? Why are we boxing ourselves in the way that we express ourselves, in the way that we see ourselves, in the way that we love? Why do we box ourselves when God himself is not boxed? And he's telling us, don't box me. Don't box me, don't box me, don't box me. But you go ahead and box yourself and box other people and say, this is how you should present yourself. This is how they need to present themselves to be acceptable in the eyes of God. But really what you're saying is, this is how you need to dress and to be and express yourself to be acceptable in the eyes of men and not God himself. If nakedness was somewhat impure, or the nakedness of a woman was somewhat impure, then let's go back to the Garden of Eden when Adam and Eve was in the garden just before they ate the apple. They were roaming around that garden naked. Never once did God mention anything about their nakedness in a way that portrayed that he was somewhat offended by their nakedness. But we as people and as church, we somehow get offended by the nakedness of another woman because we don't actually see it or see their bodies in the innocence that in the eyes that God sees them. We don't actually see them through the innocent lens that God sees us, especially when we go to the bathroom, when we have a shower. If God is omnipresent, if God is everywhere all at once, then what makes you believe when you go into the shower he's not there with you? Like all of a sudden he steps out and lets you go in the shower whilst you're showering? No, he's there. But because there's an innocence about your nakedness, there's nothing impure about your nakedness. There's nothing wrong with that. But we as a society have said that nakedness is wrong. Being sexy is wrong. Being sexy is impure. Being attractive. It's gone even to the point of like wearing makeup, things like that is within the church community. Like wearing makeup, like not too much, don't do too much, or don't wear makeup at all, don't do your hair. Like I've seen this happen with a lot of people that I care about. Anyways, my other video goes into more depths about where I stand with this, or what I'm trying to teach, or what I'm trying to convey to you. This video, I want to highlight more about embracing, like, ways as women that we can embrace our bodies in a way that kind of draws out our beauty and not take away from our beauty or from our essence. And one thing I want to preference is, before I mention these examples, or before I give these examples, is that we have an issue with learning from people that we don't like. The best thing to do in this world, the best thing for yourself and the best thing for anyone in this world, is to learn how to objectively look at something. Learn how to eat the meat and spit out the bone when it comes to information that you're given. Learn to actually learn, especially from the people that you dislike, from the people that maybe you do not align with in terms of values. Learn from them. Look at things that they're doing. Look at things that they've been able to achieve. Pick out the things that resonate with you, that you can embrace, that you can take on, that you can use for your betterment. Don't run away from people that you dislike, or people that maybe you're indifferent from. Don't run away from them because you just don't like them, or because you just don't believe in what they're doing. No, look at them. Look at what they've been able to achieve, and pick out the things that resonate with you, so that you can use that for your betterment. You can use that for your growth. The people that I think have done this the best in terms of embracing their full capacity or their full essence as women are the celebrities. They've done this the best. And there's a woman out there on the internet that talks about beauty maxing and all of that stuff, and she does it really well. I'll reference her so then you can see and go and watch what she talks about, so that you understand what I'm trying to say. But a lot of the times when we dress ourselves, and when we, like, our heart, like if our heart posture is just not in the best place, it is going to reflect in how we dress, in how we come up with the things that we wear, and how we do our makeup. Like sometimes makeup really takes away from your beauty rather than enhance or draw attention to certain parts of your face. It really just like changes your full essence as a person. You turn out to be something completely different. And I'm not saying heavy makeup is bad. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like some of the ways that makeup is being applied is in a way that takes away from your essence as a person. And that isn't, if you're trying to bring out your beauty, if you're trying to bring out who you are, your essence, embrace it fully, it should always start from the heart first and foremost. Understand what are the key core things that are rooted in your heart. What are you struggling with? Are you struggling with jealousy? Do you need validation from other people to feel secure? Are you a people pleaser? Do you do things just to please other people? Like, go to the root first before you start playing around with your, I guess, appearance and all of that stuff. To the root. I did that for 3 years of my life. Going down to the root and finding what works and what didn't work, what was true and what wasn't true, what was limiting me and what wasn't limiting me, what I needed to hold on to push me and project me into where I was going, and what I needed to let go of in order for me to like shoot myself in the direction that I was going in. And so basically, the best people to look at when you're looking at people that embrace or capture their full essence are celebrities. You now need to go look at your favorite celebrities, people that you really like, and go look at them and look at the essence and look at how they portray themselves and how they capture their full beauty. When you learn to dress yourself in a way that isn't desperate, but it doesn't mean that you're not showing skin, but there's an energy that is given off when you're desperate for attention, but in a way that looks, it's like you've looked at your body, you've looked at your face, you've looked at who you are as a person, and you've picked out things to draw from that beauty rather than actually like overshadowing or kind of dressing and being someone who you're not. That is what highlights and makes you the best. Like that's what highlights every single version of who you are without taking from your essence. Go have a look at your favorite celebrities and ask yourself what energy do you think is drawn from these people. There are celebrities out there that still give off that desperate vibe, even though they're celebrities and they've got stylists. But then there are other celebrities who give off the confident, I know myself, I know what works for me, I know what works for my body vibe. And that doesn't mean wearing less or wearing more. It's just how you balance everything out. I think in this life, everything is about balance. If you don't know how to balance and you go to one extreme over the other, you have no balance in the way that you dress, in the way that you present yourself, in the way that you view this world and stuff like that. You always have to have a balanced perspective, a balanced look, because God is balanced in everything that he does. That's why one time you might think, oh, he mentioned this, but it sounds like he's contradicting himself when he mentions this. No, he's just balancing it all out for us to see that there is a balance when it comes to him. And he expects a balanced perspective, a balanced approach when it comes to us as human beings, where we're not being pulled to one extreme over the other. We have to maintain balance in the way that we see ourselves, in the way that we move in this world. But I don't know if that unpacked it enough. I don't know if I unpacked that enough, but yeah, I don't know. I hope you actually gained something from this topic. If there is something specific that you want me to answer, like that you want me to do a video on, drop it into the description or the comment section, so I can just have a look and be inspired for what the next video should be about. But yeah, thanks for listening this far. I'll see you in my next video.